What's up, Comic Geeks, and welcome to issue 97 of the Script Heroes podcast. I'm Katie.
And I'm Joseph, and today we're going to be talking about Ghostpepper issue 4, Battle Beast issue 6, Godzilla Escape the Deadzone issue 3, RacerX issue 2, Shredder issue 2, Titans issue 28, Nightwing issue 131, BigfootKnowsKarate issue 1, and Dungeons and Dragons The Fallbacks issue 1.
That's right. It is a week of things old and new, and we're going to review them all for you. So be sure to hit subscribe to add us to your pull list, and we're going to jump right in to Ghostpepper.
Nightwing 131. The writer is Dan Waters of Detective Comics, Lucifer, and Homesick Pilots. The artist is Dexter Soy of Red Hood and the Outlaws, Suicide Squad, and Batman and the Outsiders. The colors is Veronica Gandini, and the letter is Wes Abbott. Katie, maybe surprisingly, This is not an event tie-in issue.
Honestly, thankfully, this is not an event tie-in. DCKO is obviously happening right now, and the Titans are heavily involved in that. And Dan Waters is able to say, cool, I'll join you next time. We're focusing on the story of Nightwing, which I think is so refreshing. I am not at all bothered by... because we're reading DCKO and we're reading Titans, which we'll be talking about next. And it's like, I'm not at all bothered by Nightwing being completely insulated from that. Like, he's doing stuff in those other books, but it doesn't have to affect his main title. So I'm, really pleased with that, actually. I hope that it's an indication of a wider trend for DC nowadays. But this is really fun. I want to start out by shouting out Dexter Soy. I think that a big part of it is because of the creative decisions that Dan Waters made. I think the biggest one being having Nightwing operate in night again. Seeing the way that Dexter Soy has Nightwing move around Bloodhaven, he feels like, I don't know, a part of the Batman family, right? It feels like he could intimidate the criminal force of Gotham. And I think that it just looks so rad. And it's got such good movement and energy to it, which is exactly what you want in a Nightwing book, because the man's always moving. The man's got so much energy.
I thought Dexter Soy was on another level this issue than what he is. I think he's done a very good job in this run. I thought this issue was just head and shoulders above his other work in this book. I don't know what it was about this issue that elevated him. You wouldn't think it would be a Killer Moth issue. That would be where I was like, oh,
but it was.
Dexter Soy is in his bag, but it was, and it was awesome. And Killer Moth can actually be really rad when done well, which is such a weird thing to say.
And also, Dan Waters did him so ridiculously, it was amazing. The little, I don't know, self-monologues of Killer Moth were so funny, and we won't get into what happens at the end of the issue, but it's a big escalation thing. And having an issue where there's a lot of levity happening. Killer Moth is being kind of fucking goofy. This is, I think, it feels weird to say, but I think it's the funniest that Dan Waters' Nightwing has been. Because, it's been a pretty serious run so far, which is a great, kind of refreshing breath of air, which I say as someone who really liked the happy-go-luckiness of the Taylor run, but it was good to come back to. It was funny, and that really helped make the ending of the issue really pop.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that, even when you have that, Dexter Soy's artwork, gives a groundedness to the book that doesn't, let it slip too much into the goofy, category, because his artwork just is this very, grounded, he draws in a very, dark, style of that.
Even if Killer Moth is escaping in his Killer Moth rowboat.
Yeah. Again, as goofy as it is, there is not a single page that if you removed all the text looks goofy. Dexter draws Killer Moth looking like an actual, I don't know, force.
Looking really fucking cool.
Yeah, he looks rad. It reminds me of when Jorge Jimenez drew, Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, and you're like, that shouldn't be able to look like that. How
sorry, it does
that make sense?
It looks super rad. Yeah, and I think that part of why I really, really, because the reason I wanted to just shout out Dexter's story at the start was the same as you. I feel like this was again an upgrade from an already amazing product. I
Yeah,
feel like
we
there
shouted him out in the
is,
very first issue
yeah,
of this run for like
I feel like there
being
is
such a
some
Nightwing.
of this like new DC house style influence coming in. I think a lot of that is in the way that he drew Killer Moth. I was like, oh, I kind of see like the stylistic inclinations of like Dan Mora and Jorge Jimenez in this. And
Yeah, but
I
with like
really,
heavier
really liked it.
shadow work, I think, which
Mhm.
honestly I like a lot.
Agree.
Because it adds a little bit more like texture to the page almost than
Hmm.
Jorge and Dan Mora usually have. Which no like shade on them. Utterly love those artists, but I do
Yeah.
like having that little bit of like tactileness with the shadows and the little bit heavier line work. I think that Dexter Soy employs.
Yeah.
Also, we somehow went this whole issue without talking about Nightwing Prime, who I think has utterly
So good.
justified his existence in a way that
Hmm.
I maybe didn't foresee coming.
And in essentially like a single issue. Like, I feel like this is our first real issue with him in it as like Dick's sidekick, essentially, or his protege.
Yeah, because last
And
issue
I
is
feel
kind of
like
more
it
of the
immediately was
setup
like,
for that.
oh, okay, I see what's happening here, and I really
Yes,
like it.
fully agreed. Absolutely agreed.
So yeah, a lot to love in the current Nightwing run. What is your favorite part? There's a lot of new moving pieces. Let us know down below, and we're gonna move on to Titans, number 28. This is coming to us from writer John Layman of In Hell We Fight, The Scorched, and Chew. The artist is Pete Woods of Robin, Action Comics, and Deadpool, and the letter is Wes Abbott. Jay, we've been loving this run so far, but we've historically been a little bit burned by the Titans coming into contact with full DC events. What's the skinny on the hooey with this one?
Yeah, this is actually the exact opposite end of the coin from what happened in the last event,
Mm-hmm.
which is the last event essentially was a Titans event, and they were written by the same man, so they were
Yeah.
very like intertwined, and like the Titans issues of the event were just kind of like the event issues. This is the opposite end of the coin when they're like kind of the least important part of the event and mostly not really connected to the event, and yet they still decided to make the book a tie-in to the event, which
Mm-hmm.
leaves them in a situation where I'm sure John Layman was told you can't actually really impact the like main story of the event,
Yeah.
but you're going to tie
DCKO
into the
being
event.
the event
Yes,
if you're living
yes,
under a rock.
yes. So they don't actually get to deal with, and this is the second book in the event, so we're coming straight from
Mm-hmm.
that first issue that we reviewed last week on the channel,
Yep.
and they don't get to actually like deal with the tournament. So instead, they're on evacuation duty, and one of our big issues with this Titans run before John Layman took it over was that it was a lot of the Titans either like fighting weather or just evacuating people, basically stuff that doesn't play into comic books very well.
Yeah.
And that's what this issue is on a grand scale. I will say John Layman continues to understand the Titans really, really well in a way that makes all
Mm-hmm.
of their like direct interactions in this issue really,
Right.
really good.
Yeah.
Roy and Donna continue to be a real highlight of this book for me. But yeah, they don't get to do a ton in this issue. They're evacuating people. I don't know kind of what
Yeah.
more to say than that. It ends up being an issue that is mostly uneventful, other than Cyborg deciding to like not really
Go
fully
AWOL.
key the Titans. Yeah, he goes AWOL because he's in the tournament, and then he leaves a message for the Titans that I don't know could be maybe a little bit more direct.
Yeah, especially because we read DCKO and they like broke down everybody's schedule. It's like, okay, like, we're gonna round everybody up,
Yeah, they
we're
had
gonna
plenty of
evacuate
time.
everybody, and then you're gonna have specifically a day to like say goodbye to all of your loved ones.
Yeah,
It's
instead
like,
Cyborg makes
Cyborg,
a
where are
rushed
you?
video where he also like, why does Cyborg have to explain this to the Titans? Did the heroes not like
Right?
tell the Titans at
They're in
all?
Justice League Unlimited. They are part of the Justice League.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
should have been at that meeting.
Well, it's been established again only on the Titans side of DC
Yeah.
Comics, because the Justice League side does like to ignore it. That the Titans are not all that fond of how the
Right.
Justice League have been handling things. So There's a little bit of tension there. So yeah, like I feel like it's a solid enough read as an issue, but it is mostly spinning its wheels as to not progress the event or stand alone from the event. I feel like Titans probably would have benefited from just going the Nightwing route and continuing their story instead of tying in a DCKO, but
agreed.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened.
Yeah, I feel like I really like Pete Woods' art, but I think that it's at its best when there are like dramatic things happening, whether that's a combat or like an argument or something. Because I feel like
Speaking
he's very
of that,
expressive.
the Terra Raven encounter I thought was a very good
very
use
compelling,
of Pete Woods'
yeah.
artwork. Very, very cool.
Definitely a highlight of the issue.
Fully agree.
But I feel like in a lot of the more kind of, I don't know, low stakes conversational scenes, because there was a lot of setup happening and a lot of just like, kind of like what we talked about with Taylor's run on Titans, where it's like, okay, it's just a lot of the Titans kind of operating like a well-oiled machine in a not at all
feels
challenged
like
way.
More of a Taylor issue, I feel like. Other than the like somewhat of the characterization of the Titans, but in terms of the bigger picture stuff, it feels more like a Taylor issue to me.
And so I think that this was not playing to Pete Woods' strengths either. And I feel like I missed Donna and Roy becoming like an official couple. I thought that they were still kind of dancing around each other.
No, it happens in the last like full issue before the excursion.
Before the buddy cop?
Yeah. They like,
and maybe that's what it is.
Get together. Remember we even had like the very like basically right before that we had the very funny thing where Donna basically like fully went like calling her boyfriend
when they went to the Justice League
at the meeting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just didn't remember that. I didn't remember them being in a place where they were gonna willingly kiss in front of people.
Yeah, I believe they do it before the buddy cop adventure, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, yeah.
I think this is the second time now they've like done it in a not, weird
mind-compelled way.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
yeah, so
I thought the situation was that we find out they weren't actually mind-compelled when they first did it.
Right, not with the excuse of pretending they were mind-compelled way.
I'm sorry, we're getting very derailed on that. It is, I think, the most compelling overarching story, and that's not like in an insulting way. It's just actually been done really, I think, pretty well.
I also think that. Super cute, super fun. But yeah, overall, this issue was not the strongest of Titans. But maybe it looks like there might be a little more conflict in the next issue. So, fingers crossed.
Does it? I'm pretty sure the setup is for DCKO and not for Titans.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
no.
because it says to be continued in DCKO on that final page.
Oh, Lord. Okay, we'll see. Let us know what you think about books tying into events that they're not actually really all that much a part of in the comments down below. And we're going to move right along to wrong book. Shredder,
issue 2. The writer of the series is Dan Waters, who's worked on Nightwing, The Six Fingers, and Homesick Pilots. We have 2 artists this issue. We have Sid Koshian, who's worked on Gambit, RuneScape, and Dream Police, and Michael Bandini of Batman Incorporated, Spider-Man City at War, and X-Men Gold. The colorist is Marco Lesko, and the letterer is Darren Robinson. Katie.
Yes.
You are newer to Turtles. In fact, I believe the only issues with the Shredder you read are the very first issue of Mirage.
Yep.
And both of his death issues in IDW and Mirage.
Correct, which continues to be important, because I keep encountering Shredder saying things about worms. And I'm like, I understand.
Magic worms very important.
Magic worms are very important, and I have come to know that.
Yeah.
So I am coming in pretty much completely fresh, which is hilariously juxtaposed by you, who not only has read so much Turtles, but very specifically was very invested in the continuity directly preceding this one, and had like very specific questions for Dan Waters when we talked to him on the pod about Shredder's continuity. So we're really coming in from 2 different directions, and I'm hoping that you're as pleased as I am with this book. because I am introduced to this Shredder and I'm like, this guy fucking rocks. Like, I dig it so much.
I give you Shredder's rad.
He has this like really effortlessly powerful air that I think that on many characters or in the hands of many writers can come off as like almost bad writing, but in the right hands, and I do think that Dan Waters is the right hands for this, it comes off as so menacing. Like, he proves it on the page, which I think is such an important part of that and something that often gets left out, where it's like, oh yeah, you know, this character will talk like they're the shit, but then they'll be like, you know, sitting on a throne the whole time, and so you won't really get a sense of that. In this, we see him break in and out of prisons, we see him take on hordes, we see him take on like bosses, and he comes out looking sick as shit in every single one of those scenes, and it's like, oh my god, I believe the legend. Absolutely.
I feel like they should have marketed this, because it's how I'm gonna start telling people to like convince them to read this series. I think this is like, this series is John Wick of the Turtles universe. Like, it's just Shredder as John Wick. Like, he's just gonna like go in and he's gonna fuck everybody up, and like that is, I think, so incredibly rad. The bar fight is freaking awesome in this issue. I'm forgetting the new artist. Sid Koshin, I think, did such a phenomenal job stepping in, because he drew most of this issue, and I think he did such a phenomenal job. It was utterly rad. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. I think they're doing a good job. Because Dan Waters had mentioned wanting to like take Shredder back to a more like
villainous place.
Yeah, but weirdly, that's actually not what, like, we might get there. That's really not what has happened, which is, I think, you know, somewhat of a boon for me. It does feel much more like a believable continuation of where he was previously. But yeah, it's very well done. Like you said, I think it, especially if you kind of like just zoomed out and like told somebody kind of what was going on issue by issue so far in this book, it could read as like, oh, that's just like some power fantasy, you know, bullshit that wouldn't be entertaining to read. But Dan Waters, I think, has such a good grasp on how to deliver it in a way that's still super compelling. And some of that is, I think, through having a lot of perspective be the agents that are around Shredder instead of like being on Shredder fully, because then we're not really like necessarily fully on the side of the unstoppable badass.
Right.
And I don't want to give away the ending of this issue, despite it not being like a crazy spoiler thing. But I utterly adore what they do at the end of this issue. I think, one, it's hilarious in such a like situational humor way, which is like my favorite thing. And two, utterly nails the continuation of like, no, this is not full evil start of like a continuity Shredder. Like, this is an honorable warrior Shredder, which I think is super rad.
And I think makes it even cooler when he is like evil. When he is like a bad guy, but he's a bad guy with honor.
Yeah.
Super fucking rad. Let us know, what's your experience with Turtles? And have you jumped in semi-blind like me? Or are you even blindering? You didn't even know about the worms. Let us know in the comments down below.
Who doesn't know about the worms?
Gotta know about the worms, man. And we're gonna move right along to Godzilla, Escape the Dedzone. Godzilla, Escape the Dedzone, number 3. This is coming to us from writers Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan of Kill Your Darlings, Blinking Illicit, and Marvel Zombies. The artist is Pablo Tunica of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and TMNT Universe, and the letter is Nathan Wittick. Jay, this was such a hit for us the first 2 issues.
Yes. We've went full apocalypse book, and our main character is now looking after a child, except it's a child times 2, so it's a little bit different than the normal trope.
And children who know that there is a trope that exists of an adopted father figure.
Yeah. But it's a trope because it's a good trope. And I really, really enjoyed this issue. Glass Eater and Run, I think, at times can maybe get a little too on the nose with some of the stuff that they are putting out and saying. A little bit. But I think overall the dynamic between them and the Wanderer is really, really strong. I think the like reveal of them as the as they call it, the anti-Messiah children is wild, but in such a fun way. And then we find out that they can essentially communicate with kaiju, which is like a really cool added element of like for a Godzilla book.
I feel like communicate maybe undersells what they do.
They can communicate and, I guess, in theory, kind of control kaiju.
They communicate and control kaiju by, like, entering them. By cutting them open and being within them. Which, the art from
I think
Pablo
only
Tunica,
the one can go inside, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so, because they were both inside of the kaiju when they were fighting in the first issue.
I don't remember. I don't remember that close enough to remember that the other one was it's Glass Eater, right? Glass Eater's the one.
Glass Eater is the
decision. Yeah. Utterly wild, and it lends itself so well to the very distinctive art style of this book, which is basically gross.
But gross in like a not super gross way.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. It's a rad gross.
A rad gross. A real roast.
A real roast.
A real roast.
Pablo Tunica, I think, kills it with that. So, but yeah, I love this issue. I thought this issue was really, really fantastic.
Me too. Yeah. I think that the relationship between the kids and the Wanderer is so great. I think that there's something really compelling about, because obviously the Wanderer is like tough as shit and like has his kaiju DNA or whatever, his like lizard person mutations. But I love the idea of this, the trope of, jaded old man who's lost everything adopts to new child in the apocalypse. And I love the turn of it being, oh wait, these children can essentially turn into kaiju by controlling them and like have their wits about them in a very real and tactile way. Like, obviously they're still stupid in a kind of kid way, but there's this sense, and Glass Eater even makes a joke about it where she's like, yeah, we might be stronger than you are. Like, maybe we're escorting you through the Dedzone. And I'm like, I love that as a kind of turn on the trope, because it obviously in stories like that, the physical protection provided by that father figure is very important. But, the real heart of those stories is the bond and the like fact that they give this kid a family in a terrible world with no family. Yada yada. So I love the idea that they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter that that these kids are stronger. We're still gonna have fun with this trope, and like you can still see the story building of like, their relationship with each other is what's gonna be really important. And I like the idea of the kids having to save him almost more often than not, because of course you have the one that I always go to is The Last of Us. So you have the time when Joel like gets shot and Ellie has to take care of him, and there's always that kind of moment. But I like the idea that that's going to be a little more common in this. It's like, the Wanderer might be the one that needs protecting.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know that that's fully actually what the book's doing. But good idea.
I mean, they've saved him twice now.
Have they?
They saved him on the way out of. They mentioned saving him in the last issue.
He definitely
saved him in some way in there. Yeah, I know that he ends up running out with them, but I think that they helped save him in there because they mention it in this one, and then they save him from the spider in this one.
Yeah, I think it was much more of a snot-nosed kids thing than them actually being like, oh yeah, it's going to be them protecting him. He was very fine on his own. I think anytime he's gotten into danger and they've saved him, he's gotten into danger to like try and protect them. So,
Right, which is like the trope being turned on its head. It's like, oh, you're trying to protect us, but we're going to protect you.
Fair. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Let us know what you think of this father-children apocalypse story down below. And we're going to move right along to another book, which is D&D. The Fallbacks.
Dungeons and Dragons, the Fallbacks issue 1. The writer is Greg Pak, who's worked on Darth Vader, Hulk, and Firefly. The penciler is Wilton Santos, who's worked on Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, Creed, and Grimm Fairy Tales. The inker is Edvin Alves. The colorist is Raul Agulo. And the letter is Nate Picos. Katie.
Yes.
You're a big D&D lad.
I am a big
How many
D&D
D&D comics have you read in your time? Any?
Only the adaptation of R.A. Salvatore's The Crystal Shard.
That was a lot of words.
It's an adaptation of one of the D&D novels.
Okay. What did you think about the Fallbacks?
Did you expect the answer to be none?
No, I expected the answer to either be none or like, I don't know. Something less ultra specific than that.
I have a couple of the old like D&D property ones, but I never actually read. They're by like Kaiser and something, or the D&D used to publish through a very specific publisher, and they put out comics for a while, but I did not read them because they looked almost a little too like sword and sorcery for me. I'm like, okay, I need my fantasy to have a little bit of flair to it. So if that gives it away a little bit, I enjoyed this book quite a bit. I thought that it had fun D&D flavor to it. I think that they did really fun stuff with the artwork. There was a lot of fun kind of paneling and action going on. I think that it's really neat every so often to read a D&D thing and be like, oh, I know that guy. And by that guy, I don't mean a character. I mean like, oh, I recognize that spell. Oh, they're speaking Draconic, wild. And so like it felt a lot like watching the D&D movie to me, which doesn't surprise me at all. I wouldn't be shocked if this was like very tonally inspired by that. They're like, people really liked the D&D movie. We want to continue that kind of like fun underdog party adventure tone that is the tone of so many D&D parties. So I thought it was really fun. I liked the art. I liked the little conflict that we got in this. I think that it helped us set up every member of our team pretty well. I don't remember their names, though they did repeat them. Because I made note of that.
They did, and they got
yeah, they got little like starter boxes to tell you who they were, which is always fun and always cute. And I like that they were kind of tongue in cheek ones, because I think that's always a little more fun than here's an actual bio of this person. So I liked what we got. I think that it was fun. I think that it created like not low stakes, but a kind of just like rompy adventure D&D story where I'm like, okay, I'm glad that we're not out here yet trying to save the world. It feels like this party has goals of its own, and that helps them feel a lot more fleshed out as characters.
Yeah, I agree. I think the artwork by Wilton Santos was really, really strong. I really especially like the way that he drew the kobold. I thought that
right?
like really popped on the page. As did, I don't know if I should say Oogie so that it isn't just like a shortened ugly, or if I should just call him Uggy.
He's clearly just ugly. He's Uggy and he's ugly.
Yeah, he looked really, really good too. But I thought the artwork was really, really strong across the issue. I think, like you said, it had like a very good like style to it. It felt very like fantasy role playing game, which is good. I think the issue was a little unfocused plot wise because it kind of felt like it was setting up one thing and then took like a little bit of a turn. With like the competition with the other
the rival party.
Yeah. Which has made my one slight critique, but otherwise I did really enjoy this first issue. Yeah, I thought it was very fun.
I was impressed.
I think that's it was a very, very fun read, which I think is maybe what you look for out of a D&D comic. I did say to Kate before we started recording that I was like curious going in what a D&D comic means, because D&D is not exactly like like one thing that you would make a story out of, compared to like a lot of other properties that have like characters and stuff.
Characters and iconic storylines and stuff.
Exactly.
And I will give you the very short answer that I did not give Jay. I made him listen to my whole rant. It's basically that they're using the D&D world. So it's not so much characters as it is you get to use the monsters that have the trademark logo. You get to use the cities that everybody knows. So stuff like that is what makes a D&D comic a D&D comic rather than the actual story being told or the characters on the page.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
D&D the Fallbacks #1.
Did it look anything like your home games, dear readers? Let us know in the comments down below, and we're going to move along to RacerX.
Let's do it.
RacerX #2. This is coming to us from Mark Russell of Red Sonja, Wonder Twins, and Second Coming. The artist is Nuno Plati of Marvel Universe Ultimate Spider-Man, Orphan Age, and Gotchaman, Only One Earth. The colorist is Giada Marchizo, and the letter is Buddy Bedoin. Jay, we really liked RacerX in what we saw of him in Speed Racer. We read the first issue of RacerX for his little origin. I was personally surprised a little bit to have us like completely catch up to Speed Racer in this one. Like I don't know where else we would have gone with the way that the other issue ended. But I was like, oh no, we're fully like running in tandem with Speed Racer.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be kind of, at least for a little, because I think this is a 6-issue mini, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be running in tandem for a little bit, I guess. Which is interesting. I think we also have a one-shot this coming week that's like another standalone Speed Racer book. So the Speed Racer universe is filling up right now, which fair enough. It's good, so we'll take it.
Right?
But yeah, RacerX is super cool, which is, makes his book very cool. I love the opening of this book is him having painted one of the bad guys' cars to look like his car because he knows they're going to try to destroy his car. So they just destroy their own dude's car, which is so ridiculously funny. I also thought that the actual racing in this issue was super, super well done. So that was a huge boon for it as well.
Yeah, you get a lot of fun elements in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. We actually got like a very important character beat for Speed in this issue, which is interesting to me because if you're just reading the Speed Racer book, it feels like it would actually be
a missing
kind of an important thing to miss out on. But as somebody who's reading both, it does kind of add to the kind of shared experience of the two books. But it is at the point where, like, I guess this was a little bit more RacerX focused, but I feel like we're moving into a point where I am going to be a little confused what makes it a Speed Racer versus the RacerX book because of the kind of increased focus that Speed got in this issue. So those are more like editorial notes wise, like in terms of the actual creative and experience of the book. Really rad. Really good.
I agree. Yeah.
Speed Racer Universe continues to be great.
I think that the interesting thing is even though so much of the page time was actually dedicated to Speed, you do get this like running monologue from RacerX through it.
Yeah.
Do you think people refer to him as Rex, or does everyone just call him RacerX?
I don't think anybody would call him Rex.
Why? It's literally who he is.
But it's not revealed. It's not,
I guess it just feels weird to call him RacerX when we're like, yeah, that's Speed's brother, Rex. But that's fine. But even though Speed takes up a good amount of the page time, a lot of the kind of through line of the book is this monologue from RacerX, and it ends in a really kind of heartfelt way that I really, really enjoyed, and I really liked the last beat of the book, the like little reveal there of super cute, I think super wholesome. I agree with you with the concerns where it's like, okay, if RacerX's whole motivation is going to be protecting Speed, though maybe it's not now that he's kind of proven himself a little bit, but it becomes a sense of like, okay, if your goals align so perfectly, like you both want Speed to win, it's a little bit like, okay, why do we have you in your own book?
Yeah, because I think he even, if I'm not mistaken, I think he makes the point in this book that like Speed's proving himself as like a potential partner for taking down,
the
the
smart
cat team.
money.
Yeah, so
And
like so I do think it's very much that they're going to be just and I mean again, it's a 6-issue mini, so I'm sure that'll kind of be where we get to. And I feel like it's super funny as we discuss because I'm sure like the big picture Speed Racer fans know like kind of the general flow of where these two end up, and I'm sure eventually we'll get to call him Rex again once he goes back to having two,
or he'll die for
identities.
real,
which feels like it would suck because he's the coolest character in the book, and
right? When he brought up, he's like, yeah, my dad's literally in a hospital room dying, thinking that I'm already dead. And I'm like, bro, at a certain point, you gotta go say hi to your dad.
My question is, at this point, what is keeping him? It's not like he's still working for the cat team.
I guess because the thing before was that they were threatening his family if he
didn't work for them, which he already isn't doing. So it feels like
I guess Pop's already had a heart attack, and Speed is in the crosshairs in the races.
Yeah, so my point is like I don't know that they can get any more like not like one, RacerX has already done the thing that puts his family in danger by leaving. Yeah. And then two, Speed has already put them in the crosshairs himself. So what is RacerX like getting by not revealing himself? Is it just at this point he's like, oh, it's been all this time, and they like
he's like embarrassed,
accept me? Yeah.
He's like, oh no, my face burnt off, so my family won't love me.
No, I think it's more of the I was a bad guy for is it 8 years?
I guess.
I think.
No, I think it's a vanity thing. I think he's embarrassed about his burned face.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is a very good question,
right? Yeah, I don't know if there's like. Other than like shame, if there's really like any good reason anywhere for him to at this point not reveal himself to his family. Yeah.
Odd. Well, maybe we'll find out as we continue on
next time in the whatever that one shot is next week. I don't remember what it was called, but I saw there is a one shot.
You know what? I think there are actually going to be answers in the next book that we go to. I think there's going to be RacerX answers in Battle Beast.
Invincible Universe Battle Beast, Issue 6. The writer is Robert Kirkman of Invincible, The Walking Dead, and Void Rivals. The artist is Ryan Ottley of Invincible, Hulk, and Spider-Man. The colorist is Annalisa Leone, and the letter is Russ Wooten. Katie, we are at the end of the first arc, and we're going to be going on a, I think, 5-month hiatus is what they said after this issue. Oh, you didn't read the letter in the back?
No.
Oh, yeah. So, let me know how you felt about the ending to our first chunk here.
I cannot be mad about a hiatus when Ryan Ottley is putting out work like this. Like,
it's utterly absurd.
It is so wild. It's so energetic. It's so bloody and visceral and detailed and gorgeous.
Can I say on that, like, I have a question. Yeah. Like, did you read physically or digitally? This
physically.
This is the first time I've read one of the Battle Beast issues digitally, and I was actually super, super upset because I feel like with the detail packed in the pages, reading digitally is actually such a downgraded experience of like this version of Ryan Ottley's artwork.
That's fair. I think I've read all of them physically.
Yeah, this is the first one I read digitally, and I do think. So if you've been reading Battle Beast digitally, I would actually super suggest that you try to get your hands on physicals because I do think it's genuinely a like noticeably worse experience reading Ryan Ottley's current artwork digitally.
Yeah, because it is so detailed. It's something.
And I think it's actually sometimes hard to make out some of the details on like I literally had to zoom in sometimes to like make out certain things just because of all the details kind of when you're zoomed out on a computer screen get blurred together.
And like it's a book where I really love feeling like it's me and the book. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's a book that has a really good reading experience. Like sitting there and feeling like the rest of the world kind of fade into the background as you're focused on this book and you can like pull it up to your face, and it really it's so immersive. I think is a little bit of a weird word to use, but I think that it is accurate. Like this is a book where you I think partially because of Ryan Ottley's incredibly detailed art that makes you want to be up close and personal, and also with the way that Kirkman writes, he creates these like really full feeling worlds. So it feels almost like a 360 experience reading this book. Like you feel really, really immersed in what's happening. Which is, honestly, both of them. Like they're both doing great. And that's not
Absolutely.
even to mention the like rad plot things that happen. Like we get the big showdown between Battle Beast and the sister of the thing in the nail. And then we get two huge and epic reveals at the end of the book.
Yeah, the cliffhanger is wild.
I'm sure that it means much more to people who have read Invincible than it does to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it
makes a lot of sense to people who have read Invincible.
Okay.
But there's what I'll say is one part of it makes a ton of sense to people who read Invincible. But a specific part of it is utterly wild in such a cool way that has me already like theorizing about the way that things will connect.
Which he loves to do.
I do.
Yeah. Jay has his enrichment for the next 5 months.
Yeah, I do. And hopefully in those 5 months we can cover for you enough Invincible.
Some more distance in Invincible,
yeah. To kind of have you be fully equipped for Battle Beast.
All right. But how did you feel? Just in broad strokes, how did you like the issue?
It's awesome. Like it's hard for me not to enjoy an Invincible Universe Kirkman and Otley book. Like it is a lot of a fight scene, which is, rad as hell. Otley is fully in his bag doing utterly wild things. Like the amount of detail packed into this issue. Again, it makes me so upset that I did not read it physically, and when I go to pick up both my last 2 weeks worth of books this week, I am gonna probably reread this physically because I want to like look at these awesome pages. I love just how much like this is already setting up different, because I feel like we talked about a lot in Void Rivals how Kirkman always kind of has multiple story threads that are building so that it's not just like, okay, we're on this one story arc and there might be like sub adventures here and there. It's like, no, there's this big thread and there's this big thread and they're all going to kind of interlink and overlap and at different times. And this issue essentially resolves nothing and sets up a bunch. Which
while also feeling like a really satisfying end to the arc.
Absolutely, because while it's not a full resolution of anything, it's still like packed with great moments. And I also want to shout out, it's Salaka, right? Is the name of the alien
something
lad,
like
I
that.
think. And the computer, they get a lot of really cool character work in this issue that kind of sets up their little thing. And then, not to spoil things, but there's stuff going on with Battle Beast, and then there's several threats that I don't want to get into exactly how, because again, this is all, there's a bunch of big spoilery things that you can hit at the end of the book here. But without spoilers, it sets up 3 different things that we have to deal
Which is
with,
rad.
Which is super rad. So yeah, I was super high on this issue. I loved it.
Me too. Really, really.
Also,
gorgeous.
his sword is rad. It regenerates,
it gets even
like
radder in this issue.
Yeah.
But let us know how you feel. How much do you want us to keep reading Invincible on the pod? Let us know in the comments down below, and hopefully we'll continue on our Invincible journey. And we're going to move along to our second to last book of the episode, which is Ghostpepper. Ghostpepper number 3. It is coming to us from writer, artist, letterer, Ludo Lullaby of World of Warcraft, Battle Chasers, and Transformers. And the colorist on top of it all is Adriano Lucas. Jay, issue 3. How are we feeling?
I feel like I've said before that to me the most interesting part of Ghostpepper is like the food truck of it all.
Agreed.
Because I think that's just such a rad concept. And that's basically entirely what this issue is focused on. We get a confrontation between one of the other food truckers and his giant robot man Toggle.
We love a Toggle in this house.
Our heroes. And I thought it was super, super fun. There is a very funny, interesting extra element in there that I find quite entertaining. We get some really, really rad action in this issue because it is basically just one encounter dominating the entire issue. Similarly, actually, to Invincible, Skybound does. I guess the ongoings of Skybound does allow you to do that a little bit more than a lot of the other stuff that we read. So yeah, we get just a lot of really good action, and then we get basically at the end of the issue a little bit of a shake-up from this confrontation that's going to impact us going forward and change kind of our dynamic. I don't want to spoil what that is, which is why I'm talking around it, but you'll know if you know.
If you know, you know.
Enjoyed that. So, yeah, I enjoyed this issue quite a bit. I thought it was quite a fun one.
Yeah, I think that this issue is emblematic of everything that can go right with an ongoing, where in an issue, we have essentially, like you said, a single encounter, and it changes our main character's situation. Like, you get to do these really incremental changes to the story, where it's like, okay, in this issue, this is what happens, and this is, it's either going to change how we go about the journey or change the journey. And you get to spend so much time with it that it feels really like...
It has more weight to it, rather than it just being like, oh, this thing turned on like a dime because we're in a mini-series, so the entire thing happens in 5 pages. From where we started to where we ended up. Like, no, got a whole issue to build that out and get to where you want it to be.
And I think what it really helps with is there are a few, like, long drawn out comedic bits in this.
Yeah.
And you don't get room for that.
We get out, what's the main dudes with his robot? What's his name? Ash. Like, as Ash fights Toggle, he gives him like some fighting tips,
advice,
which is really, really funny.
And like, because of those bits, you also get justification for what happens. So like, it's funny and revealing about characters, and also it feels like a good introduction to bringing another character into the team. Like, you get to really spend time with them in a way that then is like, okay, it's not that they're just here now. It's that we like earned this and we understand all the machinations behind it. And like, it feels really natural and right. So I really loved that the room that an ongoing gives a comic to breathe like that. It's really
absolutely
not usual these days.
I'm really glad that I think it's rad that it's not just like, oh, certain books from the creators that we can justify. Like, it seems like Skybound is fully committed to all of their creator-owned stuff, at least trying to be ongoings. And I think that is really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Because it's part of what makes comics, right?
Absolutely. I could not agree more. But yeah,
let us know your favorite ongoing in the comments down below, and we're going to move on to our last book of the pod, which comes to friend of the pod, Bigfoot Knows Karate by Dan Price.
Bigfoot Knows Karate, issue 1. Writer-artist on this is Dan Price of Latex Avenger and Masters of the Obvious, and the co-writer is Casey Allen of Voodoo Chili. You can check out our interview with Dan Price from, I think, almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
A while ago. But yeah, this is our first time, I think, specifically talking about Bigfoot Knows Karate on the pod, despite the fact that we both read it a
we
while
interviewed
ago.
Dan as a part of the now defunct Strange Saturday Super Show, where we talked about Latex Avenger, the condom-themed superhero. But Bigfoot Knows Karate is actually how I got my intro. Is it also your introduction?
Yes.
Yeah. Because Jay back the Kickstarter was like, you should look at this. It's really cool. Which we know because his name is in the back of the book. We love. But yeah,
it's funny. I actually looked for it and couldn't find it.
It's alphabetical. My absolute bestie. Oh, actually, no, it's not.
It's not alphabetical.
It's funny because I spotted it immediately. I was like, there he is.
That's funny because I was actually it made me do a double take, and I was like, did I not back issue 1 and only back issue 2?
No, you definitely did. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry,
the book itself. That's why it threw me off. Yeah. Anyway,
the book itself is, I feel like the biggest strength of it is the strong mood of it. Like, it immediately introduces
such
itself.
art style.
Yeah. it immediately distinguishes itself with this, like, meditative fucking Bigfoot, which is crazy to look at.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cohesive throughout. Like, I feel like there's a real sense of tone that stays consistent, where it's like, okay, yeah, I believe that Kung Fu Thulu exists in this world alongside Bigfoot doing karate. Like, this all feels right and together. And it's such a wild romp to have this, like, kind of serious samurai story, almost, with, you know, he's, like, you know, appreciating the small, quiet nature of a rabbit. But then also, he's literally a Bigfoot doing karate.
Yeah. Can we talk about that opening, though? Because I actually think it's like a masterclass opening. I think that the opening of this book is the strongest part of it, which is Bigfoot seems to be stalking this rabbit, like, as a hunter. And then it actually turns out that as this, like, wolf comes at the rabbit, he takes out the wolf. And, like, it's just such a, like, good, quick, simple visual storytelling that lets you know, like, who Bigfoot Knows Karate is.
Yeah. Who this Bigfoot who knows karate is.
Yeah, I love the opening. And, like, having that sort of opening for a book that is basically just a 20-page fight between Bigfoot Knows Karate and Kung Fu Thulu allows there to be this kind of extra added character element to it.
Yeah. Like, it creates a really surprising amount of depth for, I think it's hard to look at this book without listening to the title. Like, the title is clearly meant to grab your attention. It's Bigfoot Knows Karate. But it has elements of that kind of, like, almost memeable nature of it, where, like, okay, Kung Fu Thulu, but those are, like, the names of things feel almost incongruous to the seriousness with which the book takes them. And I think we've talked about that when it comes to comedy before, where something stops being funny if somebody on the page laughs at it, right? Like,
fully agreed.
It manages to both be incredibly serious and heartfelt, like, in the book, but you also get that kind of removed sense of, oh yeah, and it's a book about Bigfoot doing martial arts. So, like, there is that, like, inherently funny thing to it that is made even funnier by the serious nature of the book. So you get to read the book on, like, these multiple levels where you can get really invested in it, but then you can also step back and, like, enjoy the ridiculous nature of it.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's such a good time. It works on every level because, like you said, it's not in on its own joke. You know, like, I'm sure Dan and Casey are in on the joke, but they don't.
Importantly, Dan, the man who wrote Latex Avenger, he's probably in on the joke.
But yeah, it was really great to reread this. I'm so glad that it's finally found its way into comic book stores. And yeah, hopefully, I don't know if issue 2 is also coming to comic book stores, or if this was like a just issue 1 in stores thing. I don't know. I don't pay enough attention.
But hopefully it means that we have more Bigfoot Knows Karate, because we both have issue 2 as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's technically issue 3. I think it's called the Hinnigan
No, it's like
one-shot.
Exactly, a little one-shot thing.
Yeah.
But hopefully this means there's maybe more coming. But speaking of things that are coming, it's the most exciting part of the podcast. It is the pull list rec. Jay.
Katie, go.
Oh no, Katie, go. Katie is going to not really think about it and decide between 2 and go with Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 6. It's so good
that I am heavily debating here.
That's fair. I thought you said Katie go because we were, like, doing a little rapid fire one. Joseph, go.
No, I was doing it to buy myself time by making you go first.
Too late. I had to rush, so now you do too.
I'm gonna give mine...
Pick.
I'm gonna give mine to Godzilla Escape to Dedzone 3.
Really good issue as well.
A really, really good issue. I was
really fun
heavily
and
debating
original
give it to Shredder as well.
It was there were a lot of good books this week.
It was a really, really good week. But yeah, pick up Godzilla, Escape the Dedzone issue 3. Pick up Invincible Universe Battle Beast issue 6. And if anything else sounded interesting to you, pick that up as well. And if there's anything you want to see us review in the future, let us know, even though we might have a slightly different format coming.
We're trying something new coming next week. And we also have 11 books to talk about next week. So this new format couldn't come at a better time. Keep an eye out for a lot more short form content for us when it comes to that. But Jay, what books are we going to be tackling in this fancy new format of ours?
So, here's the interesting thing is basically the normal format will essentially continue, but it will be continuing on our Patreon page while we start to do a little bit more short form content on the main channel. But in the full length version of the video that will be going up on the Patreon, and we're not sure exactly how that's going to translate to the main channel, the books we will be reading for next week are Drawing Blood, issue 9, Exquisite Corpses, issue 6, Immortal Legend Batman, issue 3, It Killed Everyone But Me, issue 2, Red Vector, issue 3, Sisterhood, A High Street Story, issue 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 12, Skinbreaker, issue 2,
Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 22. Speed Racer, Tales from the Road, issue 1, and Outlaw Showdown, number 1.
I need people to know that as Katie went through writing these down, they got more and more unhinged to the point where I genuinely couldn't tell what
what broke him? Well, first of all, he jumped over my abbreviated Skinbreaker, but then what broke him was my Spider-Man, which was abbreviated to Smiman. But that's not all of the content we have here on the channel. No. Take a look at our bonus episode. Yeah, crazy. Last week we posted our interview with iconic creator Cullen Bunn. Jay, rattle off some credits.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it. We have Harrow County, The Sixth Gun, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, Green Lantern Lost Army, Sinestro, Magneto, Invasive, Lamentation,
Monsters Are My Business, and My Business is Bloody.
Jump Scare,
and
Beyond
so
Mortal,
much more.
Deluge,
and so much more. And so much more.
Masks 2.
And so much more. And so much more.
Genuinely, I think it's one of the best interviews we've ever had on the channel, and that's like not even from a vibe. Like, I just genuinely think in terms of pure like watcher enjoyment, I think it is an incredibly rad interview because Cullen is so willing to just go into some wild stories.
Literally, he spills some tea.
Yeah, try to watch the first like 3 minutes of the interview to see if you are interested in watching the rest, and I promise you will be hooked, because he immediately goes into this huge DC drama where he almost took over writing all of Green Lantern for DC. And you can watch to find out why that didn't work out. But that's like at the very start, and he just keeps going. It's an awesome interview. You should watch it.
Absolutely. But we have more content coming to you here on the channel. We're doing a bit of a goof this weekend. Jay and I were just at Baltimore Comic-Con, which was super great. And we have opinions on many things from the convention. So we're gonna do one of our classic tier list videos, but with Baltimore Comic-Con flavor. We'll see what the highlights were, what the lowlights were, and why the fuck they wouldn't give us badges.
Wristbands, just wristbands. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun, so stay on the lookout for that. But that's all we have for you this week. So as always, we'll see you next week. Comic Geeks.